Guys, I hope can someone please confirm, guys, if you are able to hear me clearly and able to see my screen.
Yes, we can able to hear
Yeah.
screen.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Okay. So, what I discussed yesterday is cross-cutting concern. That is a design pattern. After completion of database design pattern, like database per service as well as shared database. Okay. So then we have our next design pattern is cross-cutting design pattern. So what we till now so far, guys, till now, what is the order we are going on the design pattern point of view? What exactly the order we are going? We divided our application. First point is we decomposed into smaller units. That is by decomposition pattern. Yes, sir, right? After that, we applied capabilities using implementation wise, hardware wise, software wise, revenue wise. Then we got a high level picture of what exactly the picture we got it. Every capability is a microservice. In a Spring Boot, every microservice is a Spring Boot application. Okay, right. After that, schema. Does it has its own schema or does it to be part of a shared database? So mostly we cannot have as part of microservices principles, even though microservices recommends that every service should have its own database. But what is our decision point here, guys, as of now? If at all, if that service is going to be eligible for cross-platform integration or a technology change, if there is a chance, then we will completely decouple that service. It should be independent, that is database per service. So, but how we are going to achieve? Even though I cannot go with every service has its own database, I can have it a schema level. I can create n number of schemas and I'll create users and roles. Only the users of that microservice can access that schema. Other users cannot access that schema. So that is a typical of a database per service. But shared database, so some of the critical services, we need to show some data, right? So what we'll do here, we will call that service or else minimal information will keep in our service itself. So where all the tables, everything in exists in one schema, but we can handle through different users and roles. That all depends on the situation. Mostly shared database pattern is opposite to microservices, where database per service is the eligible. How we are going to achieve? We are going to create different schemas, and Spring Boot is designed in such a way that it is at schema level service. So that is at a database level. Okay. Now we got a service with respect to Java, with respect to database. We got some clarity on the design point of view. Right, sir? So far, on the design point of view, we got some clarity on the implementation as well as on the design part and the design point of view. Now, on business logic, every service will write a business logic. That is common. Order service, order business logic. Payment service, payment business logic. Customer service, customer business logic. Deposit service, deposit business logic. Withdraw service, that is a withdraw, that is logic. But here, apart from writing our business logic, there are certain functionalities which we require. That is security, logging, tracing, health check, and discovery. Also, high availability. There is a one more point, high availability also is there. These are the common functionalities. These are the common functionalities which we require for microservices. Sir, are they don't require in a monolithic? We require in a monolithic, but as monolithic is a packaged in a single unit, right? Monolithic are packaged in a single unit. So we no need to worry on this. We don't have a cross cutting. All these functionalities. For example, I have a security. I'll write in a security layer itself. Okay. And that security layer applies for all the application, entire application, right? If I take a logging, the logging will apply for the entire application. Discovery, dispatcher servlet configuration, it is applied for entire things. So in monolithic, we no need to have cross-cutting design concerns because I write at one place that will be applied to the entire application. But whereas in microservices, as they are independent, now we have a challenge on the implementation. What exactly the challenge? Do I need to have every service do we need to write? Or do we really require these on every service? What exactly the things? Those how best we can implement, those are the cross-cutting concerns. Understand? At a high level picture, these are the cross-cutting concerns. Okay. So this is what at a high level point so far I discussed in previous classes. Okay. So before I proceed further, as of now, any questions from anyone till now? Any questions from anyone, guys?
No, sir.
Ronak, you have a question or you told no?
No, sir. No.
Okay. Thank you. Right. Now, first of all, so, sir, if you want any of the cross-cutting concern, right, sir? Okay. If you want to have any of the cross-cutting concern, okay, by default, what we are going to have, sir? Configuration. Okay. So, configuration is a minimum aspect. We need to configure logging. We need to configure tracing. We need to configure health check. We need to configure discover. Configuration is the important aspect in microservices. Now, in monolithic also configuration is important. Microservice also configuration is important. Okay. So what is the meaning of a configuration is by default, okay, a common aspect, configuration. Okay. Configuration service. What is a configuration service? It is going to contain this service going to contain external interface details like database, okay, like database, RabbitMQ or Kafka, or any other Spring provided interfaces. So by default, we need to have a configuration capability. With that capability, we can connect to external interfaces like database, RabbitMQ, or any other Spring provided interfaces. Okay. Now, this capability we can achieve in 2 points here. Okay. This extra, we can call this as, we can refer this as externalized configuration, and we have two types of externalized configuration. Two types of externalized configuration. Any idea by anyone? What are the two types of externalized configuration? Push model. Okay.
Pop model.
Do you have an idea of push model as well as pull model?
It's
So
a
what is a
queue.
push model? Sorry?
It's a queue, like we are push the data in the queue and pull the data from the
Something like that, but a little bit different. Okay. But internal design is same, but will not keep a queue or something like that. Okay. Internal implement. Okay. So configuration properties are passed in push model. Okay. In push model, configuration properties are passed to the service instance by means of operating system environment variable array. Different types of configuration files like properties, YAML, etc. It's a push model configuration. Okay. Configuration properties are passed to the service instance by means of operating system environment variables or different types of configuration files. So what will that actually? We will keep that entire properties in a OS level environment variable, and our code refers to that variable. Our code refers to that variable, or else we will create a property file and our code refers to that property file. Anything is possible, or both the things are possible. That is called as push model. Okay. Another thing is what? Pull model, where configuration properties are read from configuration server. Configuration server, configuration server, or configuration properties are read from an external configuration server. It's a separate server altogether. By default, it's a separate server altogether. Like Git or database or Spring Cloud server. Or any cloud provider server. Now, why only Spring? Any cloud provider server. Like Spring config server, AWS configuration server, like that. So, what exactly my point here, sir? Here we are going to add configuration. The configuration includes external system connectivity. Okay, external system connectivity. By default, we can use a push model or a pull model. Push model as well as pull model. Both the things are possible. Push model is what? Whenever our service starts, our properties files or our environment variable starts, environment variables, they will push the data into, they will be injected into our data. They will be injected into our code. Whereas pull model means whenever I start the service, our code will run and it will pull the data from server. It will pull the data from server. So what is the main, what exactly, you understood the small difference between these two? So push model means what? Whenever our service starts, okay, by default, these properties will be loaded either by configuration file or by environment variable, anything, something like configuration will be loaded, and that configuration will be pushed to what? Our code. Okay. But pull model is what? No configuration will be loaded actually. By default, code will start and our code will look for a server and it will pull the data from that server. It will pull the data from that server where I can retrieve the data. I can retrieve the data by that, and we're going to use that pull model. Understand, guys? Everyone is clear? Push model as well as pull model, a high level picture. Now, sir, which is useful in real time? Both are useful or one is useful? Is push is good or pull is good? We'll discuss some little bit. Okay. Sir, everyone is clear at a high level, this configuration service details. Everyone is clear? Right. Now, as per our knowledge, which is good, guys? Anyone can give push model or pull model or both? Any idea from anyone?
Full model.
Full model. Why not
Full
push?
model.
Why not push?
Because in push you said right, the service instance once it's up, the properties whatever we configured that will be loaded, but afterwards we can't change it, right? Whereas in pull model maybe we can change the properties and on the fly we can get that information to the instance, right? To the instance.
Yeah. So a lot of people are in the same impression. Anyone agree with Krishna's point? Everyone agrees with the Krishna's point, guys? What he's mentioning is, okay, sir, just now you only mentioned that whenever you used a push-based configuration, first configuration will load it and that will be pushed to our code. After that, we do any changes. Okay. It will not be considered. But whereas in pull model, where it will not load the configuration, code will be loaded. Okay. But if there is a change, I can go to the server, I can change it. Okay. So obviously pull model is best. This is what the Krishna's point here. Is it Krishna or Vinod? Krishna point? Who just speak actually? Is it Krishna or Vinod? Sorry.
Krishna only, I'm saying.
Okay, sorry, sir. Yeah, I didn't. I mean, people are
Yeah.
okay. But is that correct? Or is that any other points to deviate from the discussion?
Sir, actually, if you are changing in the service, full service, so that also needs to restart the service. Either it would be in the code level change or
Exactly.
property level change.
Exactly. So that is what I'm about to focus. Sir, whether is it pushing or pulling, whether the configuration is loaded and pushed to the code or the code is pulling, in any of the case. Okay. If there is a change in configuration, does it automatically takes it? That is a point here. Ansari is mentioning correct. You need to think
Yes.
of.
Full model
By
we can.
default.
Oh, sorry.
No problem, sir. Just it's a good discussion. That's why anyone can start. Okay. Full model also. What is the code here? Maybe I will write my database details. I'll write my username. I'll write my password in a Git server. Okay. Git server I'll wrote. In a Git, I wrote my database connection string, my database username, my database password. I started my service. Okay, sir. What happens here? What Ansar is telling is you started your service. At the time of startup, your code is looking and the code is going to Git server and it connected to database and it is working. Now you went to Git server. You changed it. Does my code all again it will reconnect? Do we have any capability that you changed something in the Git server and that will give a notification to my service? Hey, do something. Something like in a notification. Already my service is loaded. It's running. I changed something in the Git server or configuration server or database server, somewhere else, wherever I kept the external things, right? Okay. Is it going to change that? I changed something. Is it going to impact immediately? That is what Ansari is mentioning. Everyone got the point here? Everyone is able to understand? So, either push based or pull based. Always. Okay. If there is any change in the configuration, always service recycling. Recycle the service is mandatory. We should recycle our service is mandatory, guys. Where we cannot take at runtime. I did some change in this. I did some change there. It will not take automatically because why? Sir, especially these connection things are okay, automatically started at the startup itself. Why? Spring Boot has a mechanism, auto configure. Everyone knows, right? In the Bootstrap class, we have an auto configure. I hope Spring Boot web application architecture. At the rate of Spring Boot application, everyone knows annotation, right? Bootstrap class annotation. Okay. What it has actually, one of the capability is it will automatically identify which activities need to be started automatically. Like Tomcat. component scan, dispatcher servlet, database connection, and lot of other these things that will be added as part of load on startup. That will be added as part of load on startup. Okay, that will be added as part of load on startup. Any changes here? Okay, definitely it should be cycle. Definitely we should stop and start it. Definitely we should we can start and stop it. Okay. So what is the point I want to focus is, okay, sir, if that is the case, then what is the use if I can property file or a server? What is the use? Okay, if I go with one type of model, if I go there, and if other type of model, if I go there, at runtime I can, if there is no use like that, then why two? It's the next point, right, guys? Everyone thinks, so a lot of people think that in interview also this is a little bit confusion. Push, pull are both are same. Only the place we will write are different. But on a behavior wise, both are same. From Spring Boot point of view, I'm talking about Spring Boot point of view. Why? Because Spring Boot has a bootstrap level annotation that is having auto configuration behavior. That is having auto configuration behavior. It will identify all the events which are eligible for startup. Load on startup. And at that time, it will pull it or push it. But for example, database connection manager, session factory, entity manager factory is loaded already. It is already loaded. Now, if you do changes anything, by default, you need to add a behavior in the code only. Maybe you need to write a cron job or schedule pool or some kind of quad scheduler, something like you need to write a code behavior which internally update the configuration by starting or stopping, whatever it may be. Okay. So that includes dispatcher servlet configuration, RabbitMQ Kafka configuration, external configuration, database configuration, any of the configuration, load balancing configuration, any of the configuration, we can only either pull or push. Both should be restarted. It does not take on its runtime. Krishna, will you agree or any debatable point, Krishna? Just now I explained the concept here. Now are you agree? Will you agree to that? Right. I hope everyone is able to hear me, right, guys? Yeah. Now, why we have two? Why we need to have two, guys? If that is the case, which one I'll take it? Why two? Which one I'll take it? The next probability interviewer is going to ask you, hey, if that is the case, why two? Which one will you take it? If it is a pull, what is the use? If it is a push, what is the use? Any idea? Now I'll go into think of by default, whenever I say configuration, what I'm looking is loosely coupled. I want a loosely coupled. In configuration, what is the meaning of a loosely coupled? In a configuration, what exactly the meaning of a loosely coupled is? generally at the time of implementation, we are going to have environment based configuration. What is the environment based configuration? In every implementation, we are going to have environment based configuration. What exactly they mean? Development environment, testing environment, staging environment, production environment. Right? Yes or no, guys? Sir, code, business logic will be same, sir. Okay? And also the cross-cutting concern code also same in all the environments. The security, whatever the code I write, logging, whatever the logs I wrote, tracing, whatever the tracing I write, health check, whatever the things I'll write, discovery, whatever things I'll write. Does it changes from environment to environment? Is it a static? I mean, it's a common code. Regular business logic plus cross-cutting concern business logic. Both will be common for all the environments. Code will be common for all environments. Yes or no, guys? But the configuration details, the push model configuration or pull model configuration details, okay, will be different. Development will connect to development database. QA will point to QA database. Prod will have a prod database. Staging will have a database. For example, I'm connected to RabbitMQ or Kafka. All are not connected to same Kafka, right? For example, I am pointing to external server. That external server also development one server, testing is one server, like that, right? So I am just thinking that the configuration details are changes to environment, they will change. But the code is common, which makes me a loosely coupled, which will support for environment based configuration, which architecture or which push model or pull model will support me to achieve loosely coupled. For what? Supporting environment based configuration. You understand my point? Sir, is everyone is clear, sir? Understanding? Because they brought Krishna, Ansari, Debendra. Everyone is clear? Okay,
No, I have two questions. I have one question.
clear. Go ahead.
You are
just
telling
repeat once again what you told?
Okay, I'll repeat that. Before that, can I tell someone is asking question? Go ahead with your question.
yeah. Actually, you are telling environment properties, but we set only environment like in properties file only database connection or and Kafka also. But security and logging, transaction management, we won't use, as my knowledge, in application.properties YAML file. You are telling like dev and sit, we have to change. I'm not getting, sir. Can you repeat
Okay.
again?
Sure, by default, definitely. Okay. Now you're asking in detail, right? In a security,
Yeah.
I have
Security
in-memory
will-
authentication.
Yeah.
I'll give the answer. Okay. Security means I can take in-memory authentication where username password will be in the property file.
Oh, yeah.
I can take
correct.
it.
Yeah, correct.
JAS, Java Authentication as a Service, where the security details I'll take inside the property file only.
Okay.
Okay.
Hmm.
Or else I'll keep my username dynamic authentication, dynamic authorization. All the users and roles in the database.
Okay.
Users and roles in the database.
Yeah, yeah.
And connecting to the database is also requires a configuration. It's also part of, for example, your credentials are in one server like LDAP or Active Directory or SAML, Okta, somewhere else external system. Or else you may use OAuth, Facebook or Google or some other service. Security means not a one feature. It is a lot of scope is there where we use a configuration. Maybe in-memory authentication we can use, JAS we can use, database we can use, external service like LDAP, SAML, Okta we can use, external servers, Gmail or Facebook we can use. In all those things we need a configuration only, right, sir?
Okay.
Got it?
For example,
Hmm.
to connect like Facebook or Gmail, we have to give those credential in YAML file, application or properties file. Is it you are telling, sir?
Yes, definitely right. Definitely right. Facebook credentials I need to give in the YAML file. Development environment, I can use a trial version Facebook. In production, I need to use a licensed Facebook URL where real-time operations is going to happen. For example,
Okay.
I'm taking Active Directory, okay, where my users and roles are everything there in the Active Directory, right? Where I'll give
Yeah.
the Active Directory details. Where should I give the Active Directory details? Configuration file only, right? For example, you are taking in-memory authentication, username and password. Where you will give that in the details? You understood my point?
Yeah, I understood. Yeah,
You should.
got it.
Are you confident? Or okay? Oh, Vijay is telling you need to accept. No, not like that. You clearly got it right.
Yeah, I got it now.
Now, do you have any other question? Okay. Now, just now someone asking me what question I asked. Okay. So let me repeat here. What question I asked is, I'll repeat here. Sir, either push based or pull based, whatever it may be, it is whenever you want to do any changes, we need to restart the service, or we need to stop and start it. Change to get the latest changes. Okay. Now, my question is, our configuration is environmental based configuration. Like development environment, one configuration, testing is another configuration, staging is another configuration, pre-prod is another configuration, prod is another configuration. Correct, right? Devendra is correct, right? Our configuration is environmental configuration. Is it correct?
Yes.
Now, to have a loosely coupled architecture, I want a loosely coupled. What do you mean by loosely coupled? I can easily change without touching any other things. Simply, I'll go to some place, I'll change it. It should be easy for me. Or I'll tell to customer, go here and change that and restart it. Something like on a loosely coupling point of view, is push based or pull based is feasible, guys? That's what my question. To achieve loosely coupled architecture for supporting environmental configurations, which one is best? Pull based or push based? Now you got it, Devendra? My question?
Push based, right?
Yes.
Ma'am is telling push base. Why push? Why not pull?
Because if I need to change the environment from dev to QA or like QA to prod, I push my changes whatever required. I'll modify those
In both the
values.
Okay, modify the values and you can keep it.
Mhm.
Anyone can, I'll not agree with her. Can someone give me valid reason it is not a right approach? Why? I'll tell the reason. Okay? Or if anyone also can give me a valid reason, but I will tell. For example, code is saved. I'll go to property file, I'll change it, it will easy. Everyone will say like that only. But on implementation, development configuration is development property file. Testing configuration is testing configuration file. Production configuration is production configuration file. Like configuration files will be different. Okay. Now my var or a jar or EAR. At a customer point of view, I'm talking. Now I give a jar or a var or a EAR. Yes or no, guys?
Yes.
That contains both contain code as well as configuration, or it contains only code?
Both.
Both.
No, it contains only code only.
Then where the configuration exists?
Matrix
If
server.
var or EAR jar is there, okay, where the configuration exists?
It is in some external configuration server.
No, it's inside na. It's in our project
It
itself.
should be
There.
inside. In our project itself we have, and it will be there. Okay. So the probability is, okay, I need to add some code which should externalize the configuration. Like my code should not be in, my configuration should not be inside my packaging file. I need to add some behavior on the code point of view. Like my configuration file is in the class path. Okay. And I'll prepare a var. At the time preparation of var, I'll tell, take local configuration, take development configuration, take QA configuration, take prod. I need to add some code, that is profile concept in Spring Boot,
Yes.
which I need to add from code point of view. I need to follow the rules at the code point of view to maintain a single configuration file which will be externalized with outside of the code. Little bit difficult, right?
No, actually,
Whereas,
actually,
go ahead.
you are telling that YAML file which will having different environment, dev and sit and prod
Correct.
and pre-prod, but for every environment we have to create on profile dev. If you give on profile in environment, then like profile is like local dev, local
Correct.
or sit, then only it will call. But here also our property file should be embedded in the jar, as my knowledge. But
Correct. Property file will be embedded in the jar.
jar this is the push model, not pull model.
Correct.
If you want to
Yes.
go for pull model, then this configuration file will be deployed in Git. We have to call from that, as my knowledge.
Correct.
That's it, sir. Is it
Yes.
correct?
That's it. That's correct one. Correct. Exactly. So in that approach, okay, in that approach, the configuration in the first approach is, it's a part of our code or part of our jar. Okay. Whereas configuration server it is not part of our code. It's outside of my code. Understand? For example, my point is, tomorrow in production, my password is changed. Production, my password is changed in the production. If I go to push model, I'll go to my production configuration, I will change it. Again, I need to create a var, right? Do I need to create a var or not required?
Need
We
to
have to
create.
create, na?
That's what my point here. Let me repeat the question again. For the purpose here, let me repeat the question again. Okay. In production, application is running and everything is good. Okay. I want to change the I changed the password. Do I need to create a var file or a jar file again?
Yes, need to create.
Or exactly, we need to create. Exactly, we need to create. But don't tell me that my customer is technical guy. Okay. Definitely, when my service is started, it will going to create a configuration file, right? In the physical configuration file, I'll ask him to do the change in the configuration file. He'll change that and he'll start the service. But it is not as per process, right? As per process, okay, we need to create a var file and that should be redeployed, which is somehow I feel that not loosely coupled. Whereas full model, I'll take a Git server, I'll take a database server, I'll take a configurations, I'll change there and does not require any build activity because my configuration is outsourced outside of my code. It's not part of my jar or a var. Will you agree to me? Is my configuration is part of any var or a jar? Unless if I change my configuration server details, I want to change Git details. I want
No,
to change database detail. I want to change configuration server unless that change is there. But no one will change once it is decided, right? Unless there is a change means it's a code change, which definitely requires a var. But 99.9% of the cases, full model is little bit loosely coupled, where any change does not require a separate build process, separate deployment process. Can I say full model is somewhat useful to achieve loosely coupling for supporting environmental based configuration? Will you agree to me now? Jayashree, maybe you got what I'm trying to say?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yeah. Thank you. So now full model is somewhat useful, or I cannot say useful, to achieve process wise loosely coupled architecture. But
Sir, one doubt,
yeah,
sir.
please, sir, please.
Yeah, loosely coupled, okay, in terms of environment variable. For example, if we use security, assume
Mhm.
in the properties we deployed in the code was in Git. For example, I used to change security username and password. By the time we have to deploy, na, we have to again even though if it will be full mod loosely coupling also. Got it,
Okay,
sir?
your question is, I got it, your question. If your question is, sir,
Yeah,
even though push model or pull model,
yeah,
okay, I
correct.
changed my username and password.
Yeah,
Definitely it need to be, we need to create a new var or a jar. That is what your question. Am I right?
yes, correct. For
Correct,
security.
right? That is what your question. For
Security.
security, only security, that
Yeah.
to in-memory authentication if you use. The
Yes.
scenario is Because
Yeah.
in the in-memory authentication only, we'll take the username, we'll take the password, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So while achieving in-memory authentication, I will write a code. What is the code I will write? My username is in the configuration file. My password is in the configuration file. That is as part of push based. Pull based means I will load from the configuration server or a Git server or in a database server. Okay. So
Okay.
when my username password is in all these three different places, why I need to repackage my stuff? My code is same, right? Go to the Git server, get my username. Go to the database server, get my username and password. Go to configuration server, get my username and password.
Yeah.
I don't
Which are
require
the
any. Yeah,
correct, sir.
got it
Thank
right?
you. Got
Now
it.
you got it right? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, got
So these things, right, guys? These things, maybe why I stressed it this much is in interviews, I mean, even I must also always go to this first push model only. On further drilling, when we drill further, then you will understand completely. So that is the point here. Push model as well as pull model. Sir, I am not giving any notes here. Okay, that's not required here. You can have, because these things we cannot write in the notes. Okay, like a pull model is loosely coupled, push model is not. I mean, all those things you can keep in your mind. Do I need to write a notes on this, guys? Please let me know, guys. What I'm thinking is which is really required, I'll keep in the notes. But don't mistake me. If you need anything I'm teaching, if you want that in a notes, let me know. I will write. Nothing to no need to hesitate here. So do I need to write this? To achieve a loosely coupled architecture, we can use pull model because it does not require any new packaging stuff, any var or a jar or a ER creation. So to achieve a loosely coupled, we can use pull model. That is a preferable. Do I need to write this in the notes or not required?
and it will
Uh,
take the
Yeah,
properties
sir, please write.
dynamically while
Sudha,
yeah.
can you write like in short?
Yeah.
So it will be easy
Okay,
to
I'll write
remember.
in short. Okay. Maybe going forward, sir, you also tell me whenever you need a notes, let me know. I'll write that and I'll, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Someone think because while I'm writing, you can tell me.
Okay, sir.
You're asking something?
Actually, pull model loosely coupling, it will take those for in terms of security, in terms of database properties, dynamically it will take without that one.
Correct. Yes, correct.
Can use pull model to achieve.
We can use full model to achieve loosely coupled architecture to support environmental configuration, which does not require any rebuild or redeployment.
That means without manual intervention, right?
Exactly, without manual intervention. Exactly, without manual intervention. Just customer will give my password. I will update in my
Right.
server. I'll update in that, and that's it. I'll restart. That's it. No manual, nothing. Okay. And my
Yeah.
intention is code is common. In
Correct.
all the environments, code is common. And my configuration should not be part of my executable. My configuration should be outside of my executable. That is a point here. Okay. Got it right? Yeah. Any questions on this any questions on this concept, guys? Configuration. Why I stress it this much is this entire configuration is common for security, common for logging, common for tracing, common for health check, common for discovery. Everything this configuration is common. Okay. Also, one more point is there are some best practices. It's not mandatory also. Best practices. Some of the cases I'll go with push model. Some of the cases I'll go with pull model. Just only best practice, guys. Some of the cases will be in push model. Some of the cases will be in pull model. Can you tell me What are eligible for push model? What are eligible for pull model?
Or whenever there are frequent changes in configuration.
I don't want the theoretical answer. I have, for example, database connection.
Logging,
I have
log,
security configuration. Yeah, maybe one by one we'll go. We'll discuss
logging,
one by one.
logging functionality we can go through push model, whereas database configuration point, whatever we have the security cell, we can go through pull model.
Okay. We'll go in depth actually now.
Yeah.
Now database is there, sir. Database configuration. Push model or pull model?
Pull model.
Database pull
Pull
model.
model. Pull model.
Now we'll see here. Database. Okay. The percentage of probability of database change. Once in production, once the database is set up, connection is set up, everything is set up. Change in connection string, change in username, change in password. Okay. Maximum cases, we may not change. Can we change, guys, in real time? The frequency on the change pointer. I'm talking about change frequency. Do we feel it's a minimal, or it will be occasional, or it will be frequent?
So password
Minimal.
rotation is required, right?
Okay. Password rotation means, for example, I have root password in MySQL, Oracle sysadmin password, SQL Server SA password. These will also be rotated. Password rotation is on the point of view of a user who is sitting on the domain. Will you agree, ma'am? Do we need to
Yes.
rotate a password for SA account? Do we need to rotate a password for a sysadmin? Do we need to rotate the password for MySQL? Do we need to rotate the password for PGSQL? If you take
No.
MongoDB, we no need to rotate the password, right? Only the case is when
But security
DB
best
admin
practice is
changes.
to have the security best practice is to have the password.
Okay. If at all, if our organization decided that maybe for every 3 months, I need to change the password. Okay. So we need to take a decision on the database side. Mostly database configuration will be push model, assuming that frequency of the changes are minimal, very, very minimal, occasionally. Only the occasion means, hey, someone stolen my password, hacker or someone, I want to change. If there is no, everything is safe, I no need to change. If that is the case, I can go with push model. But the frequency, it all depends on the customer, product, environment, complexity. So
But
I
if
can
we
say that.
push
Go
model,
ahead.
I have a quick question. So if we say it's in push model, then it means we are storing it in YAML or properties file.
Anything,
But that
yes,
is not-
YAML or property file, yes.
But that is not, I mean, having the password stored in the code is not a best practice, right?
By default, what is the problem, madam? Storing the password in a properties file, why it is not safe? Why do you
No,
feel it's not
I
safe?
mean, it's like if I have this, if I have this in Git and then everyone have access to it, then there is no point of having a password, right? I mean, it should be a pull model wherein you are
Ma'am, by
specifying
default,
it in
madam, by default, whether you have in properties file or you're in Git server, always you will encrypt, right? It's not plain password will save, right? We are going to encrypt some algorithm either in property file or in Git server. Okay. For example, madam, you are thinking that my customer database password is in Git server, okay, where everyone can see. As a developer, everyone can, outside people cannot access Git server, right?
See, usually if I have my
Outside,
application running on cloud, I'll have it in a config server. But config server is not a. I'll have all my password in secret manager or something. So that is more likely kind of a pull model, right? When you need to log in, it will go get it from the secret manager and then you try to do it. It's more likely
correct,
kind of a
madam.
pull
My
model.
point is, I have a question is, okay, on privacy point of view, or I want to be maintain, no one should know about my password. Configuration file or a Git. Forget about build and deployment, rebuild and redeployment, forget about it. Okay.
Okay.
Which one is secure? Configuration file or Git server? Forget about rebuild and redeployment. The point you raised is, sir, user, especially password. Storing in a property file is secure, or storing in a Git server is secure. I'm telling that anyway is fine, because we are encrypting the password.
Because
There is no
if you
advantage.
if you store that password in the properties file, once you change means you have to build and create
That's
your
what I asked a
database
question, right? Just
and
now,
then
sir, just now
deploy it once again. So it will be a time consuming process. Once you
I
store it in the config server, then there will be no problem.
sir, my question is, forget about rebuild and redeployment, because the context madam is asking on the point of view is not about rebuild and redeployment. Which one is better security wise? The point she raised. That's why I asked her a question. Without redeployment, don't consider redeployment, rebuild. My question itself, don't consider on rebuild and redeployment. She talking about a point here on a security point of view. Am I right, madam?
Config server is also a
Yes, sir.
secure place, right? Config server is
That's
also
what
a
I'm
secure
telling.
place.
That's what I'm telling. Why? What is the criteria to measure? Is it a config? If I store in a configuration file, is a more secure. If I keep in a property file, is a more secure. There should be a criteria, right? I feel that. There should be there should be a measuring factor, right? Yes, if I keep in property file, this is secure. If I keep in Git server, it will secure. So my point is, anywhere you can keep as a security point of. On accessibility point of view, technical people, we are the technical guys. Okay, right? So updating to configuration server or updating to property file to be done by our IT team only. Right? Maybe because we need to encrypt it, right, guys? We need to encrypt the password. We cannot keep in the plain text. And I cannot tell my customer, hey, encrypt it and give it to me. I'll give algorithm and encrypt it, give it to me. Right? So in my point of view, I feel that security point of view, both are same. Maybe only build and deployment is concerned, where I can go with the configuration server. Okay? Ma'am, is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Okay, guys. Maybe I will next class onwards, we'll start one by one aspect, right? Okay. First, we'll talk about registration. We'll talk about discovery. We'll talk about gateway, and we'll see the code. So from next exercise onwards, we are going to see the code.
Sir,
Okay.
I'm not clear on the a push service. Sir. When we have to use that.
Okay. Push service will be helpful. Okay. Where my changes are almost fixed. The frequency is very, very less. the change in my configuration is very, very less, like database. Okay. Like connecting to RabbitMQ. So the probability of the changes are very, very less. I can say once in a year. I'll go with push. Sir, my microservice, I am storing my microservice details. Port number change is frequent. I can change the port number. I can change the server details. I can change the username and password to the server. These are highly change. The probability to change them is very high. Frequency is more. I'll go with full model.
Okay, sir. Clear.
Got it right? It's very good. That's what I'm trying to add here. Okay.
Sir,
Any other question before I wrap for today?
Sir,
sir, if
Uh,
possible, please cover the pool model in our coding session.
Definitely, we are going to cover full model as well as push model.
Okay, so push
Okay.
model, I think it's
We are-
covered in every.
No. Yeah, I understand your point. Push model, anyhow, we'll cover. Full model also we are going to cover. Okay.
Yes.
Bye.
sir, is there any class for Sunday, like you are giving every Sunday, like one demos, na? Like Lager,
This
ELK?
Sunday I'm not keeping. This Sunday I'm not keeping. Next Sunday I'll keep.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. This Sunday, some kind of activity from my side, which I'm not giving. Next Sunday I'll. Any choice, guys? Any topics? Favorable topics? I mean, topic till now I decided. I'm requesting.
Yeah, we want to some in-depth, like some brief overview of security using AWT.
Security.
AWT. That is the most common interview
JWT,
question.
JWT or AWT?
JWT.
JWT, okay.
JSON token, sir. Using
Yeah, and I
WAR.
got it. But okay, that is also I'll take it. Any other?
And if you can give some about what is LDAP key clock.
Okay, I'll take it one by one.
So instead of JWT, I think OAuth it is more appropriate. More.
Sir, we have lot of
Okta is
long
also
weekends.
important thing, sir.
We have lot of weekends. Okay, we will take anything. LDAP or key clock, JWT, OAuth.
Okta.
Yeah, SAML or Okta. But Okta, SAML, right, sir? These are licensed. We cannot showcase.
Sir,
So we can
replace
get the concept at least. How it works and
Concept
functional.
is OAuth is almost same. OAuth concept only JWT. URLs will be licensed. That's it.
Sir, I'm
Wait.
talking about Okta, sir.
Correct, sir. In OAuth, okay, Google server, Facebook server, like Okta server, I'll give it. Concept is same. Federation, gem server, and all those things. Maybe, okay, Okta. I can take it. Any out of box, these are common topics in Spring Boot.
So
right?
also payment gateway. It's one
Yes, that I am planning, sir. That is what I am next planning is payment gateway.
very good.
Maybe it's next week I may plan here. That's what I'm planning. Payment gateway integration.
Yeah.
Just come up, guys. I mean, my point here is, if at all, if that comes from you, right? So that,
Sir.
yeah.
Refresh token, sir. Every 1 minute token will be refreshed. Na?
JWT, right?
Yeah, it will. Yeah, in JWT main they will ask refresh token. How we will handle?
Correct. It's a part of JWT only. That's it. That's
Yeah.
my point.
Okay. And
Okay, anyone, guys, please add that.
So-
I mean, not only now, whenever you get in mind, capture it and you can tell in the class also. It's not immediately you can get in your mind and it, right? Okay. As of
Sir,
now,
I'm
I
not
got
sure,
it.
but AWS Lambda is one of the point.
yeah,
AWS is outside of my Java Spring Boot, right, sir? AWS separate
Oh.
faculty will be there, right? No, here a conflict on faculty.
Sir,
I can teach
here
AWS Lambda.
in this course is Spring Cloud gonna be covered?
Yes, Spring Cloud will be there, but not AWS Cloud. Right? Spring Cloud Lambda is not there. Okay. No, I'll take it, but maybe we can ask AWS faculty to cover AWS Lambda. I can ask actually. Oh, what happened
Yeah,
here?
actually, they will ask
Oh.
as a Java developer, they will ask AWS also nowadays, sir. Like
Sir,
Lambda.
unless until you keep AWS experience, they will not ask. Okay, fine. Those are the things. Okay. Anyhow, it's running out of time, sir. If
Yeah,
anything,
yeah.
sir, there, kindly let me know, sir. Okay. As of now, I taken this. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Main security, sir. Thank you, sir. Bye.
Yeah, I'll take it. Okay.